Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're tuned in from. Welcome to Thrive Live. It's nice to have you all. Please let me know in the comment button where are you tuned in from. How are you doing? Where are you? Every Thursday, we have this conversation with entrepreneurs from across Africa. So I'm really excited about today's session. And I'm particularly excited because we are on Facebook and YouTube. So we've migrated from Instagram, but we'll still, and we'll be moving to LinkedIn soon. So we are pretty excited. Please let us know, give us your feedback. And most importantly, as I said before, let me know where you're tuned in from. I am in Nairobi, in Kenya. My name is Naomi. African Management Institute, and I'll be your host today. So I am in sunny Nairobi. It is quite sunny and beautiful out there. And I'm really excited. Yeah. So today's session will be joined with entrepreneurs from Kenya and South Africa, and we'll also have our account manager at AMI who manages a lot of entrepreneurship programs speak about our theme and topic today. So, like I said before, let me take a few minutes to just introduce who we are as AMI. So, African Management Institute, we've been in existence for like 7 years now, and our mission is to what we exist to enable ambitious businesses across Africa to thrive. So far we've worked with over 22,000 entrepreneurs from over 15 countries, I believe, and right now our mission is quite simple. We want to help as many entrepreneurs as we can survive this crisis, and for those who've seen opportunities, equip them with skills and for them and their teams to take those opportunities and thrive. So that's why we exist. And so we have partners who support us to be able to reach the entrepreneurs that we reach, and there are opportunities for you to plug in. So far we have 5 of them, so let me just quickly take you through them. So the first one is we have a team that sits and puts together resources, funding opportunities, resources from across the continent. And we put this in a newsletter and we send it out every week. So you can subscribe to a newsletter and just get market updates and what's happening, what opportunities are out there every week. And then we have our reflection and meditation sessions done by our resident psychologist and co-founder Jonathan Cook. So every morning, for 30 minutes, it's a good way to start your day, because I believe as entrepreneurs we sort of have a lot of responsibilities that we carry, and it's good for us to just be emotionally and mentally aware and healthy. So the meditation sessions are really good, a good way to just start your day and get that peace and calm. So there's that. And then we have the AMI Business Survival Bootcamp. So this is a free 2-week program where we take you through cash flow management, and we also take you through scenario planning. Now, scenario planning is just an easy way for you to be able to think of next step strategies of what you can begin to do. So it's a good way to sort of just help you think through new ideas. So that program is free and it runs for 2 weeks. And then the fourth thing is the Survive to Thrive program. So this is a build-up of the boot camp that I mentioned, but now here it's a 6-month program, and we delve into other things, such like adopting your operation, adapting your systems, thinking through your strategy, identifying new customer segments, managing your finances, managing your team. So that's a 6-month program as well. And finally, last but not least, are these sessions that we have every Thursday at noon, like I mentioned, East Africa time, 10 a.m. West Africa time, and 11 a.m. South Africa time. And the purpose here is to just talk to entrepreneurs from across the continent, find out how are people doing, what are they doing to learn, to get inspired, and to also network. So, and I host this session, so every single Thursday, please tune in. So before I add the entrepreneurs that we'll be talking to today and just get to hear how are people doing, I like starting these sessions by talking about and getting to hear from you. What have you learned this week? Yeah, what are you reading? What has been your light bulb moment? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What has been that light bulb for this week? So I always start, and I'd like to hear from you. So please, in the comment section, just write anything that you're learning through this season, during this week, and maybe I can share mine. Something that stood out to me. Yeah. So, like I mentioned before, I'm based in Kenya and I live outside the city. Where I live, there's sort of small scale farmers and people who have gardens and they grow vegetables. Now that when COVID has happened, a lot of businesses have closed. People are turning their cars into sort of makeshift shops, or can I call them like grocery kiosks? Yeah. So in the beginning, and they're literally outside my gate. So in the beginning, there were like 2 or 3 cars, and I thought, oh, this is a good idea. I'm saving my trip to go to the market. And I remember going out this week, and there were almost like 15 cars out there parked. And I thought, these cars, they look the same, they're selling the same thing, which one do I go to? Yeah. So in that moment, I remembered a concept I read, and I thought, some people in some of these cars should either change the color of the car, I don't know, or put loud music or whatever to just sort of make me decide on where to go to, because they're literally selling the same thing. Literally, the cars are literally the same, and there are like 15 of them. So I went back and I remembered a book I read years ago. I fetched it out. It's called The Purple Cow. I hope you can see it. Let me know if you read this book, by the way. It was written a few years ago by a marketing guru called Seth Godin. Please let me know if you've read this book before and what you thought about it. But let me read for you a paragraph that is pretty much the whole essence of the book. And I think it's a concept that we need to carry with us into this new normal that we are seeing now that economies are opening up. So this is what it says. He's giving a story. When my family and I were driving through France a few years ago, we were enchanted by hundreds of storybook cows grazing on picturesque pastures right next to the highway. For dozens of kilometers, we all gazed out of the window, marveling about how beautiful everything was. Then, within few minutes, we started ignoring the cows. The new cows were just like the old cows. What was once amazing was now common. Worse than common, it was boring. Cows, after you've seen them for a while, are quite boring. They may be perfect cows, attractive cows, cows with great personalities, cows lit by beautiful light, but they're still boring. A purple cow, though, now that would be interesting. The sense of the purple cow, which is the book, is that is to be remarkable. So this book is about why, what, and how of remarkable. So I was like, maybe I should give this book to one of these vendors out there at my gate. So that was my light bulb moment. And I thought, even as we go into this new normal, as we sort of pick ourselves up, let's not forget, even with our ideas as entrepreneurs, because a lot of us have new ideas, we still have to make them remarkable. We have to give people a reason to look at us, even if it's in our social media, now that a lot of business is happening online, we have to sort of find a way to be the purple cow of our businesses. Yeah. So that was my light bulb this week. I'd like to hear what you learned and get to read them as well as we go. So please write to us. So I'd like to introduce my first guest for the show today. And like I mentioned before, I forgot to mention this, that if you'd like to plug into any of the 5 things that I mentioned earlier, just simply go to our website, africanmanagers.org/together. And I believe there'll be a banner on your screen with those details. So just go to our website and you'll be able to plug into any of those sessions that I mentioned. Subscribe to the newsletter, do the meditation, subscribe for the bootcamp or the program, or even get notified once these sessions start every Thursday. So today we'll be talking about this aspect of being remarkable and people, what other entrepreneurs are doing, what are the things we're learning and carrying that forward into now that the markets are opening up. And I'd like to invite Caroline, who's the guest, who's one of my guests today. So Caroline works with me at AMI, and she's the account manager for our entrepreneurship programs. And I wanted to bring her in because she comes with a lot of knowledge, in the sense that she works every single day with entrepreneurs from across the continent, from Nigeria to South Africa to Ghana. And I just wanted her to tell us what is she seeing, what trends is she seeing, how her business is surviving, so to speak. So Ashley, if you could help me um, add Caroline. I see there's a comment from, there you are, Caroline. I'll read your comments. James is saying, striving to be remarkable, a very good idea. James Sudi from Nairobi, glad to be here. You're welcome, James. It's nice to see you. And I'd like to get to hear a lot. He's joining us from YouTube. So welcome, Carol.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what do you do, and yeah, so we can get to know you better.
Naomi, as you had mentioned, so my name is Caroline Dungu. I am an account manager at AMI, that is African Management Institute, and I am in charge of running the entrepreneurship programs we have.
Yeah. So what are you seeing? Because you work a lot with entrepreneurs, and like I said before, we've trained thousands and thousands from across different countries. What are some of the things that you're seeing in terms of trends? How are businesses surviving or thriving? What's happening?
Okay, so let me just give a bit of context. So when COVID-19 first hit, or when it properly hit us, so of course people panicked. Entrepreneurs panicked. Yeah, I mean, for a business to survive, we need to maintain cash flow. Yes. And for us to maintain cash flow, there are certain factors that affect it. For example, customers, suppliers. When we talk about customers, there's the law of demand. The law of demand states that, for a purchase to happen, there has to be the ability and willingness, for someone to buy or to purchase. And so the dilemma that entrepreneurs had is now that, government has put certain measures. I mean, the flow of money in the economy generally has gone down. Do customers have this ability anymore? Who are we selling to? Are we still valuable in the economy? Talk of suppliers. So are we even able, if there is no income stream, if we do not have revenues coming in, are we able to, still maintain our suppliers? Is it a possibility to even negotiate with the suppliers? How are we maintaining that relationship? So again, that is where AMI came in. And AMI's main objective at this time is to just help entrepreneurs survive this crisis. That is the main objective of AMI. So yes, we went out, we got entrepreneurs who are interested in this program, as of course, I mean, right now, every entrepreneur is just thinking of surviving, and we got entrepreneurs on board. And so again, after they shared the dilemmas they had, and we started journeying with them, some of the things that, we started journeying with them on was just taking a step back, taking a pause. First, let this sink. That is where we started. Let this sink. We are in a crisis. Things are not the same anymore. So what do we need to do? Pause. Let's look at our scenarios. What are our scenarios looking like? What's the best case scenario with this crisis in mind? What's the middle case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Okay, so now you've looked at the scenarios. You've mapped out your scenarios as per your business. Now, what risks do these scenarios bring? If it's the best case scenario, is there any risk that is coming with that? And what action? You see, when you put down a risk, then the next question you ask yourself, okay, when this happens, what am I going to do? So what action will I take according to all the scenarios? Then last but not least, and the most important thing, I mean, cash is king. You can't run your business without cash. Cash flow has to be there. So is it possible for you to do a cash flow forecast? So that you see, I mean, right now, if there's any income coming in, how much income is coming in, how can you forecast this so that you better plan yourself, so that you don't find yourself in a situation 2 months, 3 months down the line, based on your scenarios, you don't have money and you don't know
Yeah.
where to go to. So that is where we
Mm,
started from, and that is what we are calling the rapid response. So we needed to
mm,
respond rapidly, to this crisis, and that is where entrepreneurs started from. Now, others, after doing that, it meant that others needed to innovate, because probably
mm.
not all businesses can move online, right?
Yeah.
Other businesses just, I mean, right now can't go on as usual, because probably they were thriving when it was face to face. So it meant
Mm,
that maybe some people needed to just be creative, come up with other ideas of other income generating streams, because remember, we said cash is king, so we need to maintain our cash flow. And you've planned, that this cash is going to take me this far, so let me be
mm,
innovative right now and see which other idea or which other income generating activity I can do, right? So for some, it meant innovating new ideas. For some, it meant looking at the services they're rendering and just really
mm,
looking at which particular aspect of their business brings more income or is more profitable, or right now during this crisis is thriving. So let me give an
mm,
example at this instance, so that this makes sense. So we have a business in Nigeria that is participating in our program. So this business is a landscaping business. So for her clientele was corporates. Yeah.
mm,
So now when COVID hit, again, as all entrepreneurs, panic, getting stuck, what do I do? And she came for our
mm,
program. In
mm,
fact, our boot camp before joining the program. So she came for our boot camp. And in the
mm,
boot camp, they were told about this mapping of scenarios, looking at your risks, focusing your cash flow. And she took it very seriously. And she went and sat down with her team and did it with her
mm,
team, looked at her scenarios, looked at her
mm,
risks, focused at her cash flow, and they were able to see a niche that they never thought of. And now
mm,
they've gone retail, which is something that she had not thought of. And right now, I feel
mm,
she's able to, generate some income. So
mm,
again, with other of our entrepreneurs, that is pretty much what we've seen. They've responded rapidly. They
mm,
have innovated. So either I'm going online, either I'm looking at which aspects in your business are bringing income, or do you need to even re-strategize? Others, it
mm.
has just meant that they need to create habits of certain practices, which I'll speak
Mm.
about as we go along.
Yeah, well, that's nice to hear. And the fact I like what you said about taking time to sort of step back and think and pause and just think through, okay, what are the next possible steps, and even taking time to think, because scenario planning, I guess what you've mentioned, best case, worst case, middle case, you really have to just pause and think. I really like that. So another question would be, so we've worked with entrepreneurs for many years, even before COVID. What would you say
Mm-hmm.
are some of the things that you've seen successful businesses, and these are large businesses that have been, what would you say is like a trait that most successful businesses you've seen do, and not just a particular entrepreneur, but sort of like a business? What sort of traits do you
Mm-hmm.
see, like the most successful
Mm-hmm.
people in the program, or the people with the large, because you have all this data in terms of their revenues and all that, and I know you can't disclose, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
just share the top businesses that you see. What's a common trait that you notice
Mm-hmm.
amongst them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the most common trait, of course, before COVID hit, we were running a program called Grow Your Business. So we were helping businesses grow. And a
Mm,
common trait, and I'll give context after just mentioning the trait. So the common trait was tracking cash and profitability. For the
mm,
businesses to succeed, they just had to keep proper records. That was a common trait cutting across. Yeah. And of
yeah.
course, there are other traits, there are other practices that we spoke about. So let me just give context. Let me backtrack a bit so that people understand what this tracking cash and profitability is. So
Mm,
AMI, in partnership with MIT is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, did a research on some practices or habits that businesses need to thrive. And from that
mm,
research, they came up with 24 practices, but then put into 5 categories. So I won't go into the 24 practices, I'll just mention the 5 categories. So in other words, it's like asking yourself, what's the fuel for business? For your car to run, you need some sort of fuel, right? Whichever you use. So for a business to run, what do you need? What are the key things that you need? And I'll just mention the categories. You need customers, because who are you selling to? I mean, the reason for your business is to add value to somebody, right? You need a strategy to run your business. You can't just today you decide to run your business like this, tomorrow it's what you think of the other day. You need a plan, you need a strategy, right? So that is planning. We have the customers and markets. You need suppliers, because you'll need to, if it's you're dealing in products, you'll need materials, you'll need I mean, if you need a shop, there's a stakeholder. There are various stakeholders, right? So you need suppliers. I mean, the most important resource, you need people,
Team,
right?
yeah.
You can, man is not an island. You need people. You need a team, right? Again, you need to streamline your operations. For a business to be successful, you need to have proper systems in place. Yeah, you can't just run things the way you're thinking of, right? So then that was sort of the baby, or the reason behind the program we had, called Grow Your Business. So when we had our pilot program, because we wanted to test this theory, so we had our pilot program. So we asked our entrepreneurs, we had quite a number of entrepreneurs join the program. So we asked them to rate themselves on these 24 practices. How do you think you're doing on customers? Do you reach out to your customers? What do you know what they want? How is the relationship with your suppliers? So we asked them to rate themselves against the 24 practices, and then just pick 5, because again, you want to be realistic. You want to set a SMART goal. So just pick 5 you want to focus on. So of course, for most of them, in fact, for most of them, the tracking or keeping proper records was a common practice that people wanted to improve on, because sometimes, as the owner of a business, when you start delegating things to people, if you have a finance person or an accountant, sometimes you don't get into the nitty-gritty of how things are being recorded, or the flow of money in your company, because you've delegated that to someone. So you really don't know the things that are happening in the background. You just know high level. And so these entrepreneurs are also interested in just knowing, understanding these aspects, because most times, again, it just so happens that some accountants, not all, take advantage, of the owner or whoever they're dealing with, especially when they know this person does not have an understanding of the financials or the accounts, right? So this was a common practice that people wanted to work on. And just to give, again, a good example of one of the businesses that is so thriving in this program is there's a lady who owned a restaurant, yeah, and she was on the verge of bankruptcy. I mean, the bank was almost foreclosing on her businesses. And when she came to our program, again, we always discuss what the challenge is, what is your dilemma this time, which practices do you want to focus on? And that was one of her key practices, just keeping proper records, understanding her records. She worked on that. She didn't know that, sometimes, and most of us don't know how important it is to just reach out to our customers. Because again, who are you selling to? Are you selling what they want, what they need, or are you selling what you want? Yeah. So she understood the value of reaching out to her customers, especially the ones she had lost, to just understand, what happened? What would you want me to do better? Feedback. There's power in feedback, because that helps you improve. Yeah. Again, one of our practices asks you about your sources of waste, because sometimes the things we see as waste can also be income generating. And when she worked on these things, believe it or not, she was able to grow her business and to pay back her loan. And more to that, she was even able to create more employment. And to just give an overall, a general picture, even on the other businesses for this particular program that we did, 94% of those businesses lowered their costs, 60% were able to increase their revenues, and 82% created more jobs. Yeah. And that was the power and that was just the power of creating these habits, these practices in your business, reaching out to your customers, negotiating with your suppliers, keeping proper records. Because I mean, when you want to grow, sometimes you need some funding, from either a credit lending facility. But if you do not have proper records, how can you go and ask for this? What do you have to show for it? Yeah.
Yeah. Carol, I see our time is like literally up, but thank you for sharing your wisdom. And what I'm just taking away is the way to almost be successful is sort of building habits, and the habit of one tracking every single thing, particularly your records, your stock, everything, like knowing the numbers, and also getting to know your customers, and getting to know what do they need and keeping aligned to that. So if we're able to build at the very least those two habits, we'll be really on our way to be building thriving businesses. Yeah. So thank you, Carol. Maybe
Exactly.
I can give you like literally 30 seconds to tell us your closing remarks. See, we are over time.
Okay. So I'd say right now, I mean, as an entrepreneur, given the crisis, it's okay to feel stuck. It's okay to feel the
Mm-hmm.
way you're feeling. Be kind to yourself and allow yourself to feel that way. Then after that, you don't remain there. So after that,
Mm-hmm.
I'd advise, I mean, if you're able to join AMI or to come to us so that you're able to join, I mean, to support you, to help you, just go through this journey, help you to be able to survive this crisis with a community of other entrepreneurs, because you're not alone. And sometimes you just feel better when you know that, I'm not suffering alone. There are other people going through what I'm going through. We'll be able to
Yeah.
provide you with that. And a community of other entrepreneurs going through the same thing, sharing ideas of what they're doing, what's working. Again, if you're in our community, we are able to provide resources that, help you see what other people in the world are doing. And sometimes it just happens that, they're in the same business as you're in. So you're able to even, just grow or thrive in this crisis at the same time.
Yeah.
So don't remain
Yeah.
stuck. Join us. Let's journey together.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. I wanted to read a comment there from one of our listeners on YouTube. Even as we let our next guest join. So, Carol, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time, and thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. And like I said before, you could plug into those programs by going to our website. So, but the purpose of this conversation is get to talk to other entrepreneurs as well. So, I'd like to add Mags Shivanda. She's from South Africa. Mags is the Client Service Director of Digital Shiro South Africa. Yeah, so Mags has now become a friend of AMI's. She is in the digital media space and she comes up with so much wisdom. And I'd like her to just introduce herself, tell us a bit more about what she does, and give us a few tips around digital marketing, because a lot of businesses now are moving online. A lot of businesses are operating, selling online. So we really have to sort of, I don't know if it's okay to say digitally aware or be more social media present. So I wanted to add Max. Um, as she's joining. Yeah, there you are. Hi, Max. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again, Ash.
We had so much feedback and we were told, please bring Mags back. She didn't finish. She was giving us almost digital media 101. Can you please bring her back? Yeah. So for those who might be meeting you for the first time, just introduce yourself. Tell us a bit more about what you do.
Okay, hopefully I won't disappoint this time. I'll try my best. My name is Megs Shivanda. I run a company called Digital Shiro Media Group. It's a digital media agency where we do media strategy, planning, and buying. We also have our own platforms that we sell to clients. In South Africa, we even have commercial rights to sell on your Wi-Fi hotspots, but it's been a bit of a challenge at this time because there were no they were not we're not allowed to have any public gatherings, so the Wi-Fi site has been quite quiet from a business perspective, but the other things in terms of digital have been doing quite well. So I run a digital media agency, and then I also have a foundation called Bloom Girls Rock Foundation. It's also an online platform. That's
Yeah.
basically what I'm about.
Yeah, and you're a cheerleader of girls, I remember.
Yes, I'm an uplifter of young females, of anyone really, anyone who's willing to listen. Actually, I will literally make you feel like you can take over the world.
Yeah, yeah. You really do carry that spirit. So I wanted us today to talk about digital media. The fact that I think it's an industry like we talked about in the beginning, at our
Yeah.
previous session, that has sort of emerged in the past few years, and it's sort of proven that it's here to stay, and it's the
Hmm.
new normal of business, because now businesses are predominantly operating online and selling online. So now that you are sort of a technical expert in that sense, maybe you could tell us what are the basics, like for entrepreneurs now that we are moving into this new normal of things operating online, events are happening online, people are buying online. It's not now, online is not so much could have, it's need to have. So what are the basics that would be starting points for us?
Okay, what I always tell my team, and I always tell my clients, and especially if you are now your business is now being online and you're selling your products online, and let's start with, if you have an e-commerce platform where you are selling from, but you are using other channels to drive traffic to your website. So let's say Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, where you are
Mhm.
promoting your platform. The
Yeah.
basic thing that you really need to do is to make sure that the link that you are using for people to go, because obviously for someone to click on the link, they were attracted to what you were advertising, right? So whatever product
Mhm.
that you had put there, it's what is the reason the person clicked on it, right? So just make sure that that link takes the person to the product that you have advertised. Because
Mhm.
if your link, if someone clicks and they go to your e-commerce site and then they just are bombarded with a lot of things like about us, and they will move quickly and move to the, because that's the thing about the online space, is that the attention span is so little, and you need
Mhm.
to make sure that when someone goes there, they go straight to exactly what they went there for, so you don't want
Mhm.
to confuse your customers and your targeted audience. So if you are promoting a page, then you can
Mhm.
say you can take the person to the website. But if you're promoting a specific product, please take them to this exact product that you advertise. And
Yeah.
obviously, then if it has different colors, then they can choose what other colors they want. But just make it, the thing about online is that you want to make the process easy for the for your customers. And that's
Mhm.
why I always also find, I always say, if you're even going to post about your product on Instagram, for instance, obviously with Instagram you can't click on a on the feed, but your bio has to be really relevant to the content that you are publishing at that moment. So when you say something, when you say, here's the product, link on our bio, then it's easy. Just think of making things online, online experience for people to be very, very easy, because like I said, the attention span is so small. So
Yeah.
so you want to catch them immediately. They must just buy the product immediately, check in, do all those things right off the bat. So
Yeah.
that's what I would really like to to advise people. And another thing that I've noticed, I've seen that Facebook has also introduced like an e-commerce platform now. So that's something that I'm really now excited about. I think it's
Yeah.
on both Facebook and Instagram. The thing about this online space is that you don't it's rare to take someone out of the platform that they're already in. Like
Mm.
if I see something, like right now, we broadcasted, we advertised, we spoke about this live interview on Facebook and on saying that we
Yeah.
are live on YouTube and Facebook. You're gonna find that the audience that is on Facebook, you have to give them the link for the Facebook. So you try by all means not to drive people out of the platform, because then they're gonna be like, why must I leave this? I'm already here and I wanted to see something else. So that rather keep them on the platform that they are in, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just try to. So that's why I'm so excited about what Facebook and Instagram is going to be doing with this e-commerce, because now people are not going to be reluctant to leave the platform anymore. When they see your product there, they can buy there, they can do everything there, which is going to be like helpful for your brand. So just try by all means. Now, if you can, don't move people away from where they are. If they are on Twitter, let them stay there, you know. So that's why you'll find that a lot of influencers, even on Instagram, they have so much following on Instagram, but leave Instagram.
Yeah.
So now you want me to leave Instagram to go to YouTube? No, I want to stay here, you know. So just try by all means. I would just want to advise people to just try by all means not to get people to leave where they are. Use
Okay.
the platform that you are in to get them to learn more about your product where they are. Because when they have to move, the number is not going to be as much, you know. So you rather have the audience that's already there interact with your product. So those are the two type of things I would advise to entrepreneurs on what they can do digitally.
Okay, those are really good tips. So number one, make it easy. Make your the user experience for your clients easier, because their attention span, or say empathy levels, would be lower online. Because if I'm at your shop, I'll wait for you to have your things together. By the time online, I'll move quickly. And the second one was use the users of that particular platform on that platform, yeah, and not moving people around. So those are good tips. Thanks for giving us those tips, Max. Maybe we should just have you as a consultant at AMI, and you'll be doing digital tips of the week.
I don't mind. I can do that.
Yeah. So I want you to put back your entrepreneur hat, Max, and not your technical advisor hat. And I wanted another entrepreneur to join this conversation. So I want us to just have candid conversations about being an entrepreneur, doing business at this time, and what we are learning. So I'd like to add Dennis Tonkei. So Dennis and Mags will go back and forth. Just I thought it would be interesting to just have it sort of like a panel discussion. Dennis Tonkei is the founder of Rotla Limited in Kenya. So I wanted us to just quickly add him.
Hi.
Your audio is not so clear, and then maybe move away from your camera a bit. Let's see. Your audio is quite, maybe just not use the earphones. Maybe just use directly on your phone. Yes, that's better. And then move away from your phone a little bit.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
There you are. Yeah. So hi, Dennis. Maybe you can just introduce yourself. Tell us a bit more about who you are and what you do.
Good. My name is Dennis Tonkei. I'm CEO of Rotla Limited, a real estate company based in Nairobi that does developments, conveyancing, and we're mortgage agents for local banks.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe
so basically we're in the real estate space.
Sorry, I missed that.
Basically in the real estate space.
Okay. So real estate, that's almost like two different industries. So maybe Dennis, you can tell us, how has this crisis affected your business, and what are some of the things that you're learning as an entrepreneur in terms of how to survive to survive this crisis?
Interesting. In Nairobi, there's been the real estate space in Nairobi had been affected about a year ago by several economic factors, proverbial last straw. But the interesting thing that digital marketing, shared office spaces, and things like that, of course, now we are all running back to what, because we're keeping it traditional. We're all now
Mm,
running back and forth and making sure that we make the most of the times. But so far, in the last 2 weeks or so, there's been a resurgence, and as you can tell, we're back to work.
yeah. So
Yes.
mm, maybe we could go to Max and then I'll come back to you. What is that one thing, Max, that you're learning through this crisis? Just as an entrepreneur, not necessarily within your industry, but just what are you generally learning?
Um, I really realized that, especially with my space, we doubt ourselves a lot when you're an entrepreneur. There's so many other things that you go through, and you think that maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I really realized that for me as an entrepreneur, especially the space I'm in, I've
Mm,
been kind to myself and realizing that I'm on the right path. So no
mm,
matter what is happening at this moment in time, even if things are not going the way I would have loved them to go, but I'm still
mm,
on the right path. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and whatever I'm doing, I'm learning out of it. So you should not, I really think that a lot of entrepreneurs should not regret anything that is happening at this moment in time, because if you actually go deeper and find reasons why these things are happening, just know that it's because you are learning, and you're going to it's gonna be okay. Because for me, even before COVID last year at this time, things were a bit tough for the business, and then now we are just blossoming. I'm like, when everyone is so worried, now the company is doing so well. But it just shows you that, just if there's anything that needs to change, you can change your strategy, but don't give up. Never
mm.
ever 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 give up. Just know that you are at the right place at the right time. You just need to learn what you need to learn, so that you can embrace, your company can actually become more successful. Than it can happen next year. It doesn't have to happen now. But
Yeah.
you are on the right path.
Yeah, I like that. And it picks on something Oprah likes to say, like there are really no such things as mistakes. It's sort of a learning curve, and sometimes they're expensive. Call it street university, so you pay quite a lump sum for it, but we are learning. So for those people who are tuned in and watching, please ask your questions. If there's not one thing you're like, I wish I could ask an entrepreneur, because I know if there's one thing, running and starting a business can be it can be isolating, it can be quite hard. So if you have questions,
Mm.
please send them through and we'll be able to answer them. So, Dennis, I'd like to go back to you, and maybe you could tell us, just as an entrepreneur in general, I don't know if I still have you, as an entrepreneur in general, what have you learned? What has this crisis taught you?
That basically is business is enjoyable, and business is full of ups and downs. And by the way, for business people, the only difference between COVID and our everyday lives is that today this problem seems to be a blanket problem. We'd call it a
Mm.
blanket
That's true.
problem. But entrepreneurs go through challenges every day, and we've learned to survive through them. We've learned to innovate.
Yeah.
We've learned to have a spine of steel. I mean, even on the best day, you go back to work. On the worst day, you go back to work, because mainly we are serving our clients. We have learned. The only difference is today,
Dennis, your internet is not so clear, but whatever you're saying makes a lot of sense because Max and I were just nodding.
Mm.
Maybe Dennis, please check on your internet connection, and then we'll sort of bring you back in to finish what you are saying. But I think I really resonate with that, Max. Whatever he's saying around, it's already
Yeah,
had been an
it's true.
entrepreneur. Yeah, it's already had
We've
been
been
an
through the
entrepreneur.
worst. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just that now it's a blanket problem. Like we are all sort of
Exactly.
in crisis mode.
Yeah. And
When
that's
you're
why
running,
it's important to try to move away from the blanket when when the masses is anxiety and everyone is fearful. Try to move away from that, because
yeah,
if you do join the party, the pity party, then you're going to be so caught up in this dark cloud, and it's going to be so hard for you to come out, so rather move into your own space and just look at your own business and see where your business is and where you can grow, and then take it from there. Because if you move away with the negative, fearful energy, then that's what's going to happen to your business. Like, and he's right, we've been through a lot of challenges. I've been running my company for 6 years. I've had my own scenarios, so it's really
yeah,
important for us to make sure that we are aligned with the right energies and with the right people. So if you're going to go into the anxiety and the fearful space, then unfortunately that's going to be your reality.
yeah, yeah. And I see we have a few minutes left. I hope Dennis will be able to join us to just finish that conversation, but we'll go ahead with you. So I wanted to find out, what are some of the things either you're doing or you've seen around, just things that could inspire us. For instance, that businesses are doing now in terms of innovation, or what sort of remarkable, because today we're talking about being remarkable. What are
Okay.
some of the things, yeah, what are some of the things you've seen, could be your ideas, other people's ideas, that sort of sparked some creativity?
I've seen a lot of collaborations, hey? And
Yeah,
it's so beautiful to watch. I've seen a lot of
yeah.
collaborations. I've seen that, like, even the lady before when she spoke, that not everyone can be online, because sometimes your product is not like, what if your product is like 50 rands, and if you have to sell that online and having to add logistics into it, then now it's going to cost a customer 200 rands to buy a product that was going to be just 50 rands, So I've seen a lot of beautiful collaborations happening. It's beautiful to watch, because I've seen like, one of my friends, she owns factory, a frutal. It's a juice factory where she distributes to a lot of shops here in South Africa, spas, all these big retail stores. But she's been, obviously now because of the lockdown, the intake has been quite slow. So, but I saw that she's now she has collaborated with another woman who does another beverage. We call it ginger. It's not a beer, but it's ginger. So it's one of our South African favorite drinks to have. It's so refreshing. So, but hers ginger is much more pricey compared to juice. Juice can be what, 30 rands, 50 rands. How do you sell that online, really? Because it doesn't make sense for you to know. Even with us, you're not going to buy juice for a whole month, because it's going to expire, right? So you rather usually just buy juice when you go to just shops once a week, and then so what I've seen is these beautiful collaborations with this, my friend, and other people, where they all now are selling things, combined things together, so they add their products, and then they all then decide the logistic ways. Because the thing about this online thing is that the customers should not struggle with just because you want to send your product to them, it mustn't be too expensive, for them, so so I've seen beautiful collaborations happening, and I love it. It's just beautiful to watch how people now are actually working together to make this thing work for themselves and for their businesses. So that's one of the sparks and something that is exciting, and I really hope that it continues beyond this, that everyone just learns that we are not alone. We can just, if three minds come together, just magic will happen, So those are the type of things I've been picking up that has been happening lately. Some I've signed NDAs. I can't really say what people are going to be doing, but it's so beautiful to see how creative people have become these days, and they are actually even wanting to help, So a lot of products that I've been seeing that people wants to introduce to the market is the ones that are solving our social issues, still at the same time making money out of it. I've seen platforms where people wants to create a platform where people can do certain things. I'm like, platforms are so good because like let's look at WhatsApp. How much WhatsApp got sold to Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, and at the time WhatsApp doesn't generate any money, it's not profitable. But a lot of investors are looking into platforms that has a lot of people that are using it, So the more you have people that engage in your platform, even if you're not selling a product, it becomes beautiful for investors to actually even consider using your platform. It can be a website or an app, So it's just been, I've just been amazed by these incredible ideas that people have. I also now have my own ideas. There's also other courses that I want to take, I'm like, okay, I really need to learn more about this, because now I see all of my ideas are directing me to one thing, So it's been quite interesting.
Yeah, I like that. And we had a comment on Facebook. Someone was saying collaboration is the new currency. So just agreeing with you.
It is.
Point. That's Nohamna Diabni. So thanks for your comment. And also what you're saying around kindness. Thank you.
South African name.
Don't worry, when you pronounce an East African name, you'll be like, Naomi, where are you? Where are you? Come, help me.
Exactly.
Collaborate. So also the point you had around kindness and sort of empathy and being around brands collaborating around social issues. So I think that's interesting. And this thing around learning. Yeah. So like I was talking to an entrepreneur the other day, and they said they have quite a bit of downtime, but thankfully they had some savings for their business, and they're sort of just in wait and see, and they're doing what they can, but they're taking the time to learn. And I think the thing is, with knowledge, it can never be taken away from you. It's time never wasted. So the fact that people can take the time to just learn, enroll into programs and do new courses. That's good. I don't know if we are able to add Dennis. Ashley, you let me know if he's gotten back. Let's give him a chance. There. Hi, Dennis. Can you hear us? Dennis, are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about some of the things that you'll be okay. Clearly we lost him. I guess we'll try again next time. So Max, seems like it will just be you and me today. So I wanted to find out what would your and thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking the time to give us the tips on digital media and bringing just that energy that you bring. It's really we really do appreciate it. Maybe you could give us your closing remarks, even as we are about to end, around what would you like to tell entrepreneurs today?
Okay, what I would like to maybe give advice on is something that I've been doing lately is that, okay, so I really believe and think that, so for me, I stay away from my financials or like my cash flow or money that is coming in and out if I am scared. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I'm worried about money that is coming in, I stay away from looking at my books. Because if you go with that mentality to your books and to money, it kind of, the energy is not good, So usually I wait for myself to be in a great mood and then I go to my books and and when you do that, I even realize that I even get solutions right there, and good solutions, So I would really like to advise people to really just be mindful of where you are when you look at money, especially for your business. When you look at your cash flows, when you look at the salaries that you're going to be paying, all of that, make sure that you're not scared, you're not in a scarcity mentality, you're not fearful. Do it when you are happy and excited, because you're going to find so many other solutions when you are in that space. I've seen, like, there was some investments that I had promised someone, and now I was so scared. I'm like, no, I'm not looking at that. And when I got excited and I went back and I looked at it, I even had more solutions. I'm like, oh, okay, I can actually even pay this person this month, this much, and this month, and I'm going to do it. So it just became such a relief for me. So I would really want to advise people to just be aware where they are, like where they are energy wise, if it's in a fear space or if it's in a looking forward faith space or love space when they look at their money, because that reflects a lot on your business as well, and it will also, you'll see the outcomes. So that's what I would like to advise people and say, just don't look at your financials when you're scared and you are worried. Try to look at them when you are really excited, and because more opportunities and more ideas are going to pop up when you are more excited than when you are scared. That's the advice I would like to give.
Yeah, I also wanted to add the fact that I don't think you can wish your financials away. In terms of, you just can, oh, I wish they did not exist, because your business, that's like the core of your business. But whatever it takes, like you're saying, whether it's waiting until you have the right energy, some people just need a stiff drink to look at their books. At the end of the day, I think it's really important for us to track our cash flow and just yeah, we have to, and we just can't wish it away. But when we enter into that space, to enter with positive energy. I saw a comment came up. I guess they were just agreeing with that fact. So thank you so much, Mags. I see we have 3 minutes left. Yeah, I see we have 3 minutes left. So I'll give it a final chance for Dennis. I don't know if he's still on Ashley. So that we see if we should just end early or join Dennis. Let's give him a last chance. Dennis, are you able to hear us?
Good. I hope that you can hear me now.
Yes, we can. So maybe we can hear from you.
Yes, Crystal.
Yeah, this is Crystal. Thank you. We just wanted to find out, maybe I'll push it back to the question I asked Max. What have you seen in terms of either something you're doing or other entrepreneurs are doing?
This is
something innovative.
Post COVID-19.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes, so I was asking, what are some of the things you're seeing, or what are some of the things
I
that
didn't
you're
get that,
doing?
Naomi. Can you repeat it?
Yes, I'm asking, what are some of the things you're doing or seeing that other entrepreneurs are doing, innovative or out there, just to spark our creativity and innovation as entrepreneurs? What are some of the things you've seen or done or had?
In the real estate, in the real estate space, I've seen a lot of because of the price drops, and actually just gotten themselves into transactions. So basically, you know that you're not going to get a better deal than what you're currently being offered because of the negative panic that people are going through. And entrepreneurs are simply riding the wave and making the most out of the situation. So you understand that this problem is not going to be with us forever. And you simply get yourself into it, because I can comfortably tell you Nairobi has seen a 20% decline in prices of real estate. So I know quite a lot of investors who are simply getting themselves into transactions
Yeah.
and making the most out of time. So
Yeah.
they're doing what is counterintuitive. Instead of running scared, they are actually investing. They're turning themselves into
Yeah.
investors.
Yeah.
So I have seen people do that.
And Warren Buffett actually talks about how when people are fearful, you be bullish, and when people are being bullish, you be fearful. So I like that
Yes.
concept, Dennis. I see our time is up, but I
Yes.
just wanted
Yes.
Dennis to give you a chance to give your closing remarks. Anything you wanted to say today, maybe you could tell us, Dennis.
Um, Basically, I think that people should learn to study themselves. Study
Mm,
yourself and understand that whilst this is a pandemic and a problem that everyone is going through, you have gone through problems every other day. And so
mm-hmm,
steady yourself, put a smile on your face, and try and not let the problem get into you. I have
mm-hmm,
seen also, like right now I'm at work and a lot of calls coming in and whatnot, but you can tell there are people who are responding negatively because either they did not foresee the problem, or even if you saw it, your financials are off. People like doing business with happy people. So just smile. I enjoyed watching you ladies, despite network issues, smiling. Just smile
yeah.
at people, talk to people. Okay, don't shake their hands, but smile.
Yeah, don't shake
Smile,
their hands.
and it helps. Once you're able to get a positive behind you, you are definitely now in a position to make the most out of the situation. And don't panic, this too shall pass. As an entrepreneur, you've been through this before, either in a big way or a small way, but this too shall pass and we shall be well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for that. Thanks
Those
for
are my
that,
remarks.
Dennis. Yeah, thanks for that. And thanks, Max. Thanks, Dennis, despite the technical challenges, just hanging in there. And thanks, Max. And I just want to echo as we end the fact that both of you said it in some way or other, in around just being aware of our energy, the kind of energy we are carrying. Max, you are saying that energy that we are carrying when we're going to look at our financials. Dennis, you're saying that energy that we are carrying talking to customers or suppliers or whoever, just being aware of what it is we are carrying and to steady ourselves. So thank you for taking time. I just wanted to remind everyone that we meet every single Thursday at noon, and we talk to entrepreneurs from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. Today we had entrepreneurs from Kenya and Mags, who was from South Africa. So I just want to thank all of you guys for joining. And like I said before, go to our website, africanmanagers.org/together, and get to see the programs that we have that you could plug into. These programs are either free or very highly subsidized. So just plug in and take this downtime, if you do have it, to learn and to grow. So thank you. Have a blessed week ahead. And remember, we're building remarkable businesses. Remember to make your business idea or your business going forward remarkable and different. So thank you and have a good evening. Bye.